Okay, thank you, Judge.
Uh-huh. Okay, we are live. We are on the record. It is approximately 8:42 a.m. My name is Judge Tamika West. I'm a Magistrate Court Judge in Clayton County. I will be presiding over the preliminary hearing calendar for today, August the 10th, 2022. At this time, I will call the calendar and then allow both the state and the defense to make an announcement if necessary, and then we will proceed forward with any hearings. So at this time, I have let me make sure that Jennifer Fitzpatrick is.
She's one of my legal assistants.
Okay. And then Ms. Coleman, did you mention her?
Ms. Coleman is the court reporter.
Okay, thank you. And then I'm assuming Ms. Freeman, you can see, do you recognize all of the individuals with their devices? Yes,
everyone else is good. Ms. Davis is the paralegal with the public defender's office.
Okay. Thank you. The first case we have on the calendar is the state of Georgia versus Rose Marie Alwine.
If the state is not written on that case, we've attempted to get in touch with that officer and we have not been successful. I'm not sure if the court was able to send a subpoena to the officer, but we haven't been able to make contact. So if it can't be resolved, we're asking that it be reset.
Okay.
Your Honor, this is Rhonda Hill for Ms. Alwine. I believe we may be able to work something out. I'd like to pre-try that with my client.
Okay. I have Alfonso D. Kraft on the calendar as the counsel. Isn't that not correct?
Mr. Kraft is the circuit public defender.
Okay.
And so you'll see his name on all of the cases where the public defender's office represents the defendant.
Okay. And so you would like to reset this to the next preliminary calendar for felonies?
Well, Attorney Hill wants to speak with her client first, probably to let her client know that we don't have an officer, to see if we can still work something out. And so I would say before you put it down for another date, let's see, we may be able to work it out.
You mean something today, this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. No problem. Second case on the calendar is State of Georgia versus Jaquez Alexander.
The state's ready.
Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. Patrice Davis at the Public Defender's Office. That client is a conflict. And he has...
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the rest of that, Ms. Davis.
I'm sorry. He's a conflict, so he has not been assigned a conflict attorney as yet. We're still waiting.
And so, Judge, if that's the case, we would ask. They should be able to get a conflict attorney within 2 weeks, so we would ask that it be set in 2 weeks, and I think that would be the 24th, if that's possible.
Okay. Let me see. Marie, can you check the Marie, who is my judicial assistant, Marie Wesley, if you could check to see if that's possible, we could reset the case for August the 24th, correct, Ms. Freeman?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it's available.
Okay, so we're going to reset that for August 24th.
Thank you, Judge.
I have position 3 through 6 on the I'm sorry, that's the same case, sorry. So that would be, Marie, that's for position 2 through 6.
Okay, thank you.
Position 7 on the calendar, State of Georgia versus William Ralph Calloway.
Judge, we have not been able to reach that officer. I'm not sure if Magistrate Court was able to send a subpoena. But with that one, we're asking that it be rescheduled if we can't get it resolved today.
And Your Honor, I represent Mr. Calloway with the Public Defender's Office. I would move to dismiss.
Okay, state your full name for the record.
Rogers.
Okay, and you said you're making a motion to dismiss?
Yes, ma'am. It's the second time we've been here for the same reason that they did not have a witness to testify, to present evidence. So I'll be moving to dismiss for warrant of prosecution.
Okay. Do you have a response for that, Ms. Freeman?
Judge, Attorney Rogers is correct. It has been continued before for us to get the officer. We have not been able to reach the officer. We have not gotten a response. And so that is the only thing I can offer the court. We've attempted to reach the officer who's with CCPD, but we have been unsuccessful.
So according to the notes on the calendar, it says subpoena was emailed on July 15 of 2022. Is that accurate, Marie? There was a subpoena that was emailed to A. Walker. I'm sorry, A. Walker is the officer. Is that the officer, Ms. Freeman, you've been unable to reach?
No, we've been trying to reach Kendarius Mayfield. And so, Judge, I tell you what, if you can hold to the end of the calendar, let me double check and see. My legal assistant is saying the officer on the warrants is A. Walker, Detective Walker. We may be able to reach him. He is normally pretty responsive. So if we can hold to the end of the calendar,
Okay.
we're gonna see if we can get the officer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Position 8 through 11 on the calendar is the state of Georgia versus Alton Rashawn Coleman.
State's ready.
And I was advised that he was out to bond.
You said he was out to bond?
Yes, ma'am. That's what I've been advised, that he was out on bond. Yes, ma'am.
Is that the same information you have, Ms. Freeman?
Yes, I believe he's out on bond.
Okay.
Thank you.
Position 12 through 14 on the calendar is the state of Georgia versus Nazir Copper.
That was a consent bond previously done.
Yeah, you're correct. Okay. Position 15 through 17 on the calendar is the state of Georgia versus DeKayla Raylands Driscoll.
Judge, we have not been able to reach Officer Sari Smith, who is with CCPD. I'm not sure if Magistrate Court was able to send a subpoena to Officer Smith, but we're asking if the case can't be resolved, that it be rescheduled. And this is the first time, well, yeah, it's the first time on the calendar.
Okay.
Your Honor, this is Rhonda Hill from Ms. Driscoll. I would move for dismissal.
Okay, well, what is your basis for the dismissal, Ms. Hill?
For warrant of prosecution. Ms. Driscoll
Okay, but
in here with no bond, and she's been sitting in jail since the 16th with no bond.
okay, but this is the first time the state has asked for a continuance, correct, or reset. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm sure, Your Honor, but it's I mean, it's their job to prosecute these cases, and you know, Ms. Driscoll has liberty, her freedom and liberty are at stake here, and she's just sitting with no bond.
Okay, well, I would suggest to see if you can get it resolved today, but no, the motion will be denied. So I would suggest you make every effort to see if you can get it resolved today. Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Position 18 through 21 on the calendar is the state of Georgia versus Cassandra Ann Driver.
Judge, that was a fast track previously done.
Was that submitted already? Do you know when the fast track was?
Yes, Your Honor, that fast tracking that waiver has already been submitted.
But do you know if it was submitted to me or submitted to some other judge?
Ms. Davis, you may be able to answer that.
Yes, it was submitted to another judge and already signed.
Okay. Position 22 through 25 on the calendar is the state of Georgia versus Do Morning Done.
Judge, same announcement. That was a fast track previously done.
Number 26 through 27 on the calendar is the state of Georgia versus Jamila Emin Garcia Lopez.
State's ready.
Okay, so that'll be a hearing. Okay.
And Judge, I do have an announcement regarding on William Calloway. That was with Detective Walker. I'm not sure, and I know you had asked Ms. Wesley if a subpoena went out to Detective Walker. I don't know if he received it, but he is in training all week.
Okay. Okay. I will reset it one last time because of the charge. It's my understanding it's according to the children charge. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So I'm not prepared to dismiss it today. So I'll give Officer Walker one last time to appear. So we'll reset that. What are you recommending reset, Ms. Freeman?
The 24th is fine, if that's okay with Attorney Rogers.
Right, Attorney Rogers?
No,
Do you have any objection to resetting for August the 24th?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Marie, do we have availability on the August 24th calendar?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so number 26 to 27 will be a hearing today. We have position 28 through 32, the state of Georgia versus Tremel Harrison.
Judge, we have not been able to reach that officer. That is also with the Riverdale Police Department. In the case, this is the second time the case has been on the calendar, but we have not been able to reach that officer. I'm not sure if Magistrate Court was able to send a subpoena.
I don't see it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Good morning, Your Honor. Rhonda Hill for Mr. Harrison. I will move for dismissal. This is the second time he's been in there. He's again sitting in there. I mean, this is the second time his case has been on the calendar. He too is sitting there with no bond. We moved for dismissal last time. I feel like, I mean, it should be dismissed for warrant of prosecution.
Marie, do you know if the Magistrate Court has issued a subpoena for Officer Peterson? If not, we need to do that.
Okay.
The notes do not reflect it on the calendar. Can you confirm that for me?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to deny that. And again, we're going to, because we at least need to subpoena the officer. So I'm going to reset that for the 24th as well.
Thank you, Judge.
Judge, what's the officer's name?
Peterson?
Peterson with Riverdale Police Department, S. Peterson.
Thank you.
And so there are at least, let's see, 3, 4. We have 5 charges pending against Mr. Harrison. So I'm definitely not prepared to dismiss it today. Position 33, we have the state of Georgia versus Billy Rogers Halls.
The state's ready.
Okay. Who's the defense? Ms. Hill, is that you?
Yeah, that's me. I was trying to unmute and I turned my camera off. Last check, I checked yesterday. It appears to be Mr. Hawes, is going to be a hearing.
Okay, there's gonna be a hearing?
Yes.
Okay. Position 34 through 35 on the calendar, the state of Georgia versus Martinez, Giovanni Hernandez.
Judge, that was a bond waiver that was done on July 25th.
Okay, thank you. Position 36 through 37 on the calendar is the state of Georgia versus Norris Hudson.
Judge, that Officer Rollins with CCPD, we haven't been able to reach that officer. Again, I'm not sure if Magistrate Court was able to send a subpoena. And so if it can't be resolved, I'm asking that it be rescheduled. I believe it's let me double check. I think it's the first time it's on the calendar. It is the first time it's been on the calendar.
That is correct. I will pre-trial with Ms. Freeman and speak to my client. So if the court can hold for my response.
Okay. And that's Ms. Pleasant, you're representing the defendant, correct?
I am. I'm also with the Public Defender's Office, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, please introduce yourselves. This is my first full calendar. So Marie, we're gonna reset that for August the 24th as well.
Okay.
And if we could see if we can subpoena Officer Jay Rollins.
And he's with Clayton County.
Yes.
He's with CCPD, yes.
Which is Clayton County, your police department.
Thank you.
Okay, position 38 through,
I'm sorry, Wesley, there are actually two officers on. Rollins is on the misdemeanor. Officer Morrell is on the felony.
Correct. So for position 37, Marie, you'll need to subpoena Officer Morrell Miles. So reset both of those for the 24th of August.
Okay.
Position 38 through 41 on the calendar is State of Georgia versus Donald Zachary Johnson.
Judge, I believe we did a drug court waiver on that one.
No, that's not correct. It hasn't been confirmed. A chance to speak.
Oh, we have confirmed, okay. Well, that's
So
one.
possible waiver.
It's a possible waiver, Judge, and we'll try to get in touch with the officer in case Mr. Johnson doesn't want drug court.
Okay. And who was that speaking? Oh, Mr. Rogers, Attorney Rogers? Okay.
Yes.
What is your understanding of the status of the waiver?
That no decision has been made yet.
Okay. Do you think that's something you can get resolved with Ms. Freeman today?
It certainly is possible. I need to speak with Mr. Johnson first. It's his decision as far as how to proceed.
I'm assuming, is he available via this the jail? Is he?
Yeah, he should. They should be in the jail, Judge.
Okay.
He is here.
Position 42 through 45 on the calendar is State of Georgia versus Markel Anthony Jones.
The state's ready.
Okay. And who's from the public, who's representing the defendant?
That would be me. I
Okay.
need to finish up discussions with Ms. Freeman regarding Mr. Jones.
Okay. Position 46, State of Georgia versus Sequoia Linda Lynn.
The state's ready.
Rhonda Hill for Miss Lynn. I'm suspecting that may be a waiver, Your Honor. I need to pre-try that with my client.
Okay. Position 47 through 49, State of Georgia versus Carlton Anthony McCrary.
Judge, we have not been able to reach the officer on McCrary. It's the first time on the calendar. I'm not sure if Magistrate Court was able to send a subpoena. The officer is Officer Amos with College Park Police Department. If we can't get it resolved, we are asking that it be rescheduled. And again, it's the first time on the calendar.
And that's my case. I would move to dismiss, number one, for the fact that the state does not have evidence to justify continuing to detain Mr. McCrary to present at this point. So I would move to dismiss on that basis, along with the fact that this isn't something that just like pops up at the last minute. The officers know they arrested somebody. The courts know that there are these cases coming up. The prosecutor knows they're scheduled to prosecute cases. And this court date is about Mr. McCrary's rights. It's not about what's convenient for the state or the prosecution or the government or any of those things. It's about protecting Mr. McCrary's rights. So for those reasons and the state's lack of evidence, I would ask that the court would dismiss for one prosecution.
Okay, well, Mr. Raj, I don't know if the state has met its legal burden with respect to evidence since we hadn't had a hearing. So again, I'm willing to reset that since it hasn't been reset. If you would like an opportunity to see if you can work out something today, that's fine. But otherwise, I'm prepared to reset that for August the 24th as well.
Jabari, do you think we can get it resolved, or you just want it reset?
I'll speak with Mr. McCrary this morning and see what he has to say.
Okay.
Position 50 on the calendar, State of Georgia versus Carolyn Alicia Moore.
The state's ready.
That client bonded out.
Okay. Who's speaking?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, Patrice Davis with the Public Defender's Office.
Okay. Is that the information you have, Ms. Freeman?
Yes.
Okay. Position 51 on the calendar, State of Georgia versus Richard Allen Poindexter.
Judge, this is another case where we haven't been able to reach the officer. Actually, it's the same officer that I announced on.
Interrupt you real quick.
I'm sorry, please, sorry, Ms. Hill, please let Ms. Freeman finish speaking before you speak.
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead, Ms. Freeman.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just indicating that we haven't been able to reach this officer. This is the same officer on the first case, Alawan.
Okay.
And so I'm hoping that we can get it resolved, but if we can't, we would ask that it be rescheduled.
Okay, Ms. Hill, your position?
He bonded out yesterday.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Position 52 through 55 on the calendar, State of Georgia versus Randy Merritt.
State's ready.
Okay, and who's representing the defendant?
That client also bonded out, Your Honor, Patrice Davis with the Public Defender's Office.
Okay, thank you. And that's the information you have, Ms. Freeman, as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Position 56 on the calendar, State of Georgia versus Khadidra Riddles. Riddles is R-I-T-A-L-S.
We did a consent bond on that case previously, Judge.
Position 57, State of Georgia versus Taryn A. Roberts.
The state's ready.
Who's representing the defendant?
This is Rhonda Hill for the Public Defender's Office. He was assigned to me. However, he when I went to see him, he explained that he hired another attorney.
Okay.
He said he believed his name to be Jacoby Brown, his new attorney.
And Judge, I have Jacoby's sale, and so at the end of the calendar, I'll try to reach him to see if he's representing Taryn Roberts.
Thank you so much, Ms. Freeman.
Mhm.
Position 58 through 60 on the calendar is the State of Georgia versus Ahmad Rawle.
The state's ready.
Okay, who's representing the defendant?
That'll be a hearing, Your Honor.
Okay, that will be a hearing, okay. Position 61 on the calendar, State of Georgia versus Hassad Ruth Sylvia.
Judge, that officer on that case did submit a conflict letter. That officer is in training this week.
Okay.
And so if we can't work it out, I think Attorney Rogers and I, this is the case that we have been talking about before, I believe.
That's correct. I don't know. I'll see if we can get it done this morning, but I suspect we might just have to go with a continuance.
Okay, you don't have any objections to a continuance?
Not really, not a strong one. But I'll need to speak with Ms. Silva this morning just to see. We might be able to get it done this morning, but if not, then.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Position 64, State of Georgia versus Teron Williams Slaughter.
The state's ready.
Good morning, Judge. I've been appointed to represent Mr. Slaughter. I would ask for two requests. Number one, I need a breakout room with Mr. Slaughter. I'm sorry, with Ms. Freeman to pre-try the case, and then I will need to speak with Mr. Slaughter to see if he wants to resolve this case.
Okay, and please state your full name for the record.
Chris Tolles.
Okay. Ms. Freeman?
That's fine. We can I'll pre-try that with Attorney Tolles.
Okay. Thank you. Position 65 on the calendar is State of Georgia versus Susan May Stanley.
Does this officer, Sergeant McPhee with the Noonan Police Department, he submitted a conflict letter, but he is at a gang conference for training all week in Savannah. I did communicate that information to Attorney Rogers yesterday. This is a case that has been continued several times, but we've been trying to get it resolved. But I did indicate to Mr. Rogers yesterday that the sergeant is out all week.
Okay, Attorney Rogers.
That's all correct, John. I think we probably are just gonna go ahead and go with the continuance, but I'll just double check with Ms. Staley this morning just to make sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge. And this is, like I said, this is what we have been working towards a resolution. So we're close, but not there yet.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Position 66 through 70, the State of Georgia versus Mandel Swanson Jr.
The state's ready.
The Defendants Counsel.
My calendar says Attorney Beverly Taylor. Ms. Freeman, have you heard from her?
I have not heard from her this morning. I heard from Attorney Taylor regarding this case a little while ago, but nothing from this morning.
Do you have any recommendations, Ms. Freeman?
If at the end of the calendar, I'll send Ms. Taylor. I need to see if I have her phone number. I can send her email to see if she is going to get on the Zoom. We had tried to get it resolved before. And so let me go through and check, and I'll have an answer for the court shortly after the call of the calendar.
Okay, do you have any objection to a reset on that?
No, I don't.
Okay. Position 71 through 72, State of Georgia versus Christina Marie Thompson.
State's ready.
That's a fast track.
Okay, that was a fast track.
I sent Ms. Freeman an email last night and a text this morning. It's a fast track.
Okay, I just hadn't gotten it, so that's fine. It's fast track.
So that hasn't actually been executed. So is that something you're gonna need me to sign, I guess, at some point today?
Yes, it'll be
Yes, Your Honor.
submitted this morning.
Mhm.
Okay. You submitted it to me?
It hasn't been submitted yet.
It will.
Okay. Okay.
So Judge, what'll happen is, at the end of the calendar, when I have a moment, I typically will send, the information I need prepared to my legal assistants, and they will then in turn prepare the paperwork, get it back to me for me to review, then I'll forward it to the public defender's office. And then, after they've reviewed it and make sure that everything is what it's supposed to be, Ms. Davis will typically send that email to Your Honor for your signature.
Okay. Okay. Because I know I've already executed some fast tracks yesterday and today, so I was just making sure.
Right. Mm-hmm.
At position 73 through 74 was a consent bond, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Georgia versus Baquero Tarp, the Taubert case, that was a consent bond? Is that what you have, Ms.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I forwarded the paperwork to Attorney Ford. So as soon as he signs and returns it to me, I'll be forwarding it to Your Honor.
Position 75 through 77, State of Georgia versus Stefan Roberto Torres.
Judge, this is the case I indicated to you previously. It has been continued more than 2 times for the state to get the officer. We have not gotten a response from Lovejoy. Attorney Matos represents Mr. Torres. He's in front of Judge Rooks Malone this morning. I believe there should be notes for Your Honor from the previous judge indicating that if the state didn't have the officer this time, it would be dismissed. But we have not received a response from Lovejoy.
Okay, have we attempted to subpoena the officer?
Judge, I don't know. Ms. Wesley will probably be able to confirm that.
Because I mean, these are serious charges. We have aggravated assault, battery, family violence, possession of a firearm. Ms. Wesley, do you know if we've subpoenaed the officer?
No, I would actually have to find out.
Okay.
Ms. Freeman, what was that officer in Lovejoy for Mr. Torres?
The officer, yes.
It's on the calendar, Marie T. Martin.
Okay.
Underneath where it says state witness, that's usually the officers.
Okay.
Position 78 on the calendar, the state of Georgia versus, I believe we already have a waiver for that, don't we? Angers Tawana Walker.
Yes, Judge, that was a bond waiver that we already executed.
Position 79 on the calendar is the state of Georgia versus Jarvin Wallace.
Judge, the officer on Jarvin Wallace is with the GBI. I know the case was continued before because the investigation was still ongoing, but we have not received a response for Agent Steele for today's date. I'm not sure if Magistrate Court was able to issue a subpoena, but I know this is the second time it's on the calendar, but the investigation had not been completed yet. So we would ask that it be rescheduled.
And I'll be moving to dismiss if the investigation is not complete, then I don't know why we're even here. If they don't know whether or not Mr. Wallace, or they don't have a good enough basis to come forward and testify about it before they accuse him of murder, then we probably shouldn't be here. So I'll be asking that we move for dismissal for warrant prosecution because the state is unable to offer evidence to support this charge. And again, this is the second time, and it was continued the first time for the same reason. I understand the seriousness of the charge, but a person's rights don't depend on the seriousness of the charge. The rights are the same, whether you charge with murder or misdemeanor weed possession. So for all those reasons, John, I would ask that you would dismiss for one prosecution.
Attorney Rogers, I'm not on such a serious charge. I'm not prepared to dismiss a charge, at least without a full hearing on the matter, a preliminary hearing on the matter. So I am going to deny that and reset it for August 24th. I understand your argument, but at the same time, this is a serious charge. Let's see if we can get, Marie, can you subpoena the GBI officer? I believe is it Steele?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, see if we can issue a subpoena for the GBI officer.
Okay, thank you.
And we're going to reset that for the 24th.
Okay.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes.
Can I say something else just about the situation, just about regarding with the court?
Sure.
You know, I would agree with the court that this is a serious charge, and I would say that I would expect the government to treat it as seriously as it deserves. If you're going to levy that kind of charge against somebody and not go through the steps to have a witness available or file the charges before the investigation is complete enough that you're able to testify about it, I don't think that's treating it as seriously as a charge like this as it deserves to be treated. So I would agree with you that it's a serious charge. I would just say that I don't know that it should fall on Mr. Wallace because the government has not treated it with the seriousness that it deserves. So I would just, renew my motion respectfully. Thank you.
Okay. And I'm going to deny your motion again. I do understand your position, Mr. Rogers. I just think at the very least, as you said, the government, but as well as the court, we need to do our due diligence to make sure that we've exhausted all of our resources to at least to subpoena the officer. Now, we subpoena the officer and the officer does not show up and the state cannot meet its burden, then I agree with you. But again, I think that at the very least, there needs to be a subpoena compelling the witness to appear in court at the very least. So I do understand the argument though.
Understood.
Okay. Thank you. Position 80 through 85 on the calendar is the state of Georgia versus Ricardo Jonathan Ward.
State's ready.
Good morning, Your Honor. Patrice Davis again. Stanley Schoolcraft represents this client.
I'm
And
sorry,
Judge, I know-
Ms. Davis, I didn't hear Ms. Davis' response.
Stanley Schoolcraft. He's a conflict attorney representing this client,
Okay.
Ricardo Ward.
Okay.
And Judge, Attorney Schoolcraft, and I'm not sure if his email was forwarded to Your Honor. I know he sent an email to Judge Gardner as well as Judge Parker, who we had on Monday, regarding a leave of absence.
Okay.
And he's copied me on that email. And so what I'll do is at the end of the calendar, I will forward that to Your Honor, but I don't have an objection to resetting his case.
Okay, do you think this is leave of absence stand beyond August 24th?
Based on what he said in the email, I'm not sure.
Okay.
And so if you want to hold off on that date until you can read what he sent, because he didn't list a definitive date, but the reason for the absence may give you kind of an understanding of why he needs the absence. And so you still may want to put on the 24th so the case won't get lost, in the shuffle, but I don't know if he'll be back by then.
Okay, so has he entered leave of absence for this particular case?
Judge, that I don't know.
Because that's what we required. I mean, I understand what he's done in other cases, but you still, I think,
Right.
cases.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Go ahead, Ms. Freeman.
Well, because I think the email, I can't recall offhand if the email even addressed a particular case or cases. It just indicated an issue.
Okay, but it's my understanding that is required by at least We don't
It
have many
is.
rules in magistrate court, but that's one of them.
Right.
So-
Right.
So, so I'm gonna go ahead and reset it for August the 24th of
Okay.
2022, and then we'll revisit it at that time.
Okay, but I will still forward you what he sent me.
Yes, please do, please do.
Mhm.
Number 8, position 86 is the state of Georgia versus Jamarian Keshawn White.
The state's ready.
Your Honor, Patrice Davis with the Public Defender's Office. That client has multiple co-defendants. He's represented by Kamisha Benz. That's a conflict attorney.
Spell that for me.
Kameisha, that's the first name. The last name is Binns, Benz.
They do have a way of getting in contact with Ms. Benz.
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm just curious, Ms. Freeman, are they not required to enter notice of appearances in cases? I think
So
our
the-
rules require that too, but
No, they do, Judge, but what happens is, some of the cases where we have the conflict attorneys and Attorney Tolles probably speak more about this. Sometimes they may not receive a lot of notice that they're assigned to a case in time. And so it varies, but that's what happens a lot of times. They may not get notice in time to file the entry.
okay.
Mm-hmm. But Jamarian White he's part of a multi-co-defendant case that's been on the calendar several times and without an attorney that's been assigned. So it's been hard getting an attorney to represent all of those defendants on those cases. So I'm not sure if Ms. Benz received notice or not, or when she may have received notice.
Okay, do you have any recommendations?
I would ask again that we reschedule this case. I'm not sure how the 24th is looking, Ms. Wesley, or even you can look at the 22nd, that Monday or that Wednesday, or if we need to go past the 24th.
The 24th is fine.
Okay, well, we can put it back on the 24th with the other cases, Judge.
Okay, so we're gonna reset that for August the 24th. And just a heads up, if you are an attorney and you're appearing before me, you need to enter a notice of appearance. It is required by the rules. And the reason why I require that is because I need to know who is representing, who is legally obligated to represent any person or defendant. So I do require entries of notice of appearances to make sure that that person is in fact representing the person. The last case on the calendar, we have a position 87 is the state of Georgia versus Dietrich Williams.
Judge, this officer Hernandez with CCPD, we haven't been able to reach this officer. I'm not sure if Magistrate Court was able to get a subpoena to him. It's the first time on the calendar. If we can't get it resolved, we would ask that it be rescheduled.
Michelle?
Yes,
Okay.
Ron Hill for Ms. Williams. I believe that we will be able to work that out today. I just need to pre-try that with my
Okay.
client.
Okay.
Excuse me, Judge West.
Yes.
I have two clients who were previously continued from the July 25th calendar. And they
Okay.
were supposed to be added to this calendar, and I did not hear their names called.
Okay. And who would that be? The
The
first.
first one is Antoine Darius James. And the second is Patrick Wesley Jones.
And spell Antoine for me.
Antoine. Antoine Darius James. I don't know, since they weren't listed on your calendar, if the state is ready on either one.
I'm checking with my legal assistant now because I put them on my calendar because I knew they had been continued, but I don't see them on my officer list that my legal assistant gave me. So I'm trying to figure out if she reached out to those officers.
Okay. And then of course, the sheriffs would not have brought them over because they wouldn't be on their calendar.
Okay,
But I will double
don't
check
have
with Dale.
okay. Is that something that typically will happen if it's continued, it's not automatically put on the calendar that it's continued to?
No, that's atypical. When they're continued, they're normally added to the
Okay.
calendar.
So do we know what happened in this case?
We don't, Judge. They were continued from the 25th to today's calendar.
Okay.
I'm not sure why they weren't.
Okay, is that something we should have put on our calendar, Ms. Freeman? Okay.
It is, Judge.
Okay, no problem. Ms. Wesley, can you check to see why is it Antoine Darius James is the first defendant? And then the second defendant is Patrick Wesley Jones?
Yes.
Yes, Judge.
Can you see if they were reset? If so, what date? If not?
Okay.
Are you prepared to move forward on those cases today, Ms. Freeman?
I'm not. I'm
Okay.
texting with my legal assistant, and she did not reach out to those officers
Okay.
because she didn't see those cases on the final calendar that was sent by Ms. Wesley.
Okay.
And so, but they should have been on today's calendar. And so what I would ask, Judge, instead of a 2 weeks continuance, I'm not sure how next Wednesday looks, if Ms. Pleasant wants, unless you want to go 2 weeks, but I certainly would not be opposed if Ms. Pleasant wanted to place those cases on next Wednesday's calendar.
I appreciate that, Ms. Freeman. If it's not overloaded, I certainly would prefer 1 week. They both wanted hearings. So that
I apologize for that, Ms. Pleasant. Let's see if we can get them. Marie, can we reset it for August the 17th?
I'm checking now, Judge.
Okay, so we'll go off the record briefly to see if we can reset them for the best case scenario, August 17th, if not the 24th.
Okay, that's fine, Judge.
Okay, and then in the meantime, I have got rooms. I believe it was Mr. Rogers requested, and I believe Ms. Hill requested breakout rooms. Do you see those invites?
No, man, I haven't. I don't see one. Yeah.
Okay, who wants to, Ms. Freeman, who would you like to speak to first?
Attorney Tolles, but if you can give me about 5 minutes, I'm going to try to reach Jacoby as well as Beverly Taylor. And then when I finish that, I can join the breakout room with Attorney Tolles.
Okay, I'll go ahead and send you the invite for breakout room 1.
Okay, and Judge, you're still live on YouTube as well.
Okay, let me